We are Hubdrive. Our vision is to empower people and organizations in HR management.
So now we start with sales. We would like to talk about the following points today. Too expensive, challenges and solutions for the selling HR in the Microsoft ecosystem. The agenda is challenges, solution. Yes, we want to give you a solution today. And then we talk about the tools for sales and CTA. My name is Tobias Konrad. I'm from Hubdrive. And to my left is...
My name is Peter Chmielewski, but Peter is fine. I'm responsible for Dynamics and the Power Platform from Microsoft side, focused on the retail industry. And yeah, really happy to be here today and to speak with Tobias in the next 45 minutes, I think, about Too Expensive, right?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Peter. So we met us first, I think, at November. Is that right?
Yeah, I think November was it, yeah.
And how many calls did we have since that time?
A lot, I think.
A lot? Right? That's sales, huh?
Yeah.
And did we have the theme too expensive, the point?
No.
Why?
I don't know. Tell me.
I know it not, too. Why? What are we doing different, we two?
Yeah, I think the most important point, and that's also what we or where we go together as a Hubdrive and a Microsoft, is that we don't want to give arguments or like even talk about the price, but we always want to talk about business value and what we can achieve for the customer and together with the customer.
So then we come to the first point, Peter. First of all, I would like to ask you today why our collaboration between Microsoft and Hubdrive harmonizes so well. And you brought this slide with you.
Yeah, maybe I'll start with our Microsoft, let's call it platform story, but it's not a story, it's a truth. So it's a very, very important part of our strategy. And I'll tell you why or Tobias will also tell later why it goes so well together with the Hubdrive approach. So as a Microsoft, it's very important that we just don't want to offer the best solutions in the specific areas. So for example, just the Power Platform or just the Dynamics or just CRM or just finance and operations, but we really want to sell ourselves and sell Microsoft as a platform to the customer. So not single solutions, but one platform consisting of many solutions which offer the biggest value to the customer. So I think most of you are aware of the very, very high level architecture of Microsoft, but maybe I'll just shortly point it out again. So everything we are doing is, of course, based on Microsoft Azure, so our cloud computing platform. What is, of course, a big advantage compared to Salesforce or SAP. I don't want to bash them, but they are not bringing the own cloud computing platform. They are always dependable on another cloud solution platform or platforms. And the big advantage is, of course, that we have really one common data model for all our solutions. So it doesn't matter which one, we always are based on Azure and on the same one common data model. So that's a really, really important part of our strategy as a Microsoft. Based on Microsoft Azure is our Power Platform, our citizen developer toolkit, like we always call it. I'm sure
a lot of this today. Power Platform.
Yeah, it's one really crucial part of our Microsoft strategy as a whole, and also one of the solution areas which is growing at the fastest pace, actually. So it's like a toolkit, or it should enable everybody from normal, let's say normal business guy without any development experience, but of course also developers to really develop applications, websites, but also workflows, automations, etc., in a very easy and fast way. And this is based on the cloud computing platform Azure. And you have to imagine it like this, that with the Microsoft Power Platform, you can really develop every solution in theory which we have as a Microsoft. So we sometimes explain it like this, that Dynamics 365 is one very, very, very mighty and elaborated application. And based on that, Tobias will point it out later, is like Dynamics 365, but also the Power Platform, and Hubdrive is also selling itself, or like really is a platform solution, right? So we are not coming for the own or the single solutions, but are selling really the whole business value to the customer in a platform story. And like I said, the advantages are especially that we have one common data model, also together with Hubdrive, and based on that, of course, also the integration and a high it's a difficult word, right? Interoperability. So it really works together seamlessly. Yeah, and that's one really important part. And one strategic focus we have as a Microsoft, but also as a Hubdrive, is the infusion with AI. I'm sure that you heard about this topic and about the Copilot features, etc. Satya Nadella, our CEO, even called us the Copilot company. Okay, I don't know if it's the a very good wording, but so you can see that it's really in the focus of the strategy as a Microsoft. And of course, one really last important point that I want to point out is really the topic security, which is really, really crucial in our days, as you know. And one fact which is not so famous is actually that we as a Microsoft, we are really the worldwide market leader in cybersecurity. So we make 20 billion of revenue, and the second biggest one, I think, makes 10 billion. So there's really a high focus on security, which is, of course, also really important concerning HR solutions, because when you have a problem there, it's very, very, very sensitive.
So then we go over to the challenges. Okay. We talked about a lot the last days, and we wanted to know which are the biggest challenges in sales. First of them, I think everyone has heard this before. We are not cheap. You probably have too. We understood or understand when people say it's expensive. We understand that. So that's the point, a fact, and we are not alone with this. Why we are not alone? What are the others are doing? Do they have the same price or another price? Or what is the difference between? What do you think about this, Peter?
Those questions, I have to say, were really not planned, so I'm I'm answering really spontaneously. Yeah, I think the big difference is, or what is really important from the beginning of the sales cycle, to really try to don't talk about the price, and how can you like make it to don't talk about the price all the time, to really sell the business value from the very beginning.
Yeah, and the next challenge is the platform is needed. We are not a standalone solution. We need the Microsoft basis to build our solution on. And 50% of our customers don't have the platform before they buy our solution. Yes, you heard right, 50%. But when will we be successful at this point? To get there, perhaps we first need to look at what the challenge is, maybe the real challenge. What does this mean? Please take your time, look at this picture and let it sink in for a moment. I'll give you a little story. Your neighbor has bought a Porsche. Okay? You, as the neighbor, is walking down the street and is seeing that. What is your first thought? I like Porsche, yes. And what else? Maybe you think, oh, he must have money. Or where did he get all the money from? What has he done? And you think too, it might be very expensive, or? Is it so? Yes? So now I will give you a second story. The second story is your neighbor has bought a Volkswagen Multivan. Now, you as the neighbor, same day, you walk there, the street along. You see that? What is now in your mind? What do you think right now? Yeah, maybe it's a family guy. But hold in a minute. Isn't it total different? So, to make it a little bit dramatic for you, I will show you something. You ready? Hold in for a minute. Yes, that's the truth. And this is now in your mind. So I think now you are ready to talk about the solution. And the solution is very near. Do you have a solution for us? With this in the background? Should I show it again?
Yeah, show it again. Want to show this, right? Yeah, the solution is, of course, to place yourself into the mind of your customer, right?
Yeah. And this is so easy. The worst thing what can happen is that you have a strong mind before the sales process has started. And that is your real challenge. When I say to you, Christmas tree, what is now in your mind? Don't think on it. Christmas tree is now in your head. And that's the point. What you as a seller are talking about is your customer thinking. And that's the point. When you're talking about the price, what is the customer thinking? About the price. When he is asking you about the price, what can you say then? Don't talk about the price. It's very simple. You have to place yourself into the mind of the customer before it all starts. that you will come to this point. So, and the next slide. Some of you guys were yesterday in the training, co-sell. We talked about this slide, and I will show it again. We've seen it too this morning, and we want to show you again the benefit invest conversion. And this is so important that you keep in mind. The invest, yes, is in first year maybe a little bit higher with the implementation. Then after that, it falls down. But the benefit starts from day one. And then you can make a very good sales process with this story. Or what
Definitely.
do you think?
Yeah. I mean, as a Microsoft, we are also following this approach, right? And that's why, like I said at the beginning, it's a really, really good way together with Hubdrive, because it's really the same strategy, right? Because as you said, if you talk about the price from the very beginning, it's in the mind of the customer. But if you talk about the value is in the mind of the customer. But I mean, you will talk about it now, but that's why it's very important from day one to try to understand the customer and to understand the challenges, understand the objectives, understand the use cases, and based on that, develop it with the customer together, or based on the customer feedback, what you can really deliver as a value.
And the point is what you imagine that will happen. Free your thoughts before you start your sales process. Before you pick the phone, free your mind. Prepare your place. Make everything ready and then start. But free your mind. This is so important. And then you can make questions to the customer. And the next thing is you have to inform your decision maker. I jump back to this. You see? Inform him. Say him. For example, you can use the management summary. Yesterday we talked about. Use this thing to make his thoughts yours. And the other thing is, you don't have to talk about all of the modules. You can start small, you know? Always keep in mind that you can start with the customer in a modular approach. Start where the shoe pinches the most, so you can always expand the customer later on. Maybe you start with the time attendance and leave and absence, or the staff administration and automation. Think big, start small, but start at this moment. Is this an idea for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also adding to the thing that I said at the beginning, that we, of course, as a Microsoft, want to land in the customer's mind with a platform approach. It's, of course, not realistic to directly land the whole platform at the customer, but to really think big and think in the platform story, but start small. Of course, customer also has mostly SAP and sometimes even Salesforce, even if we don't like it. But you really have to come from the single solutions, but then really make it bigger and tell the holistic story and also execute the holistic platform story.
Yes. The sales process has to be started right. You start with the lead generation and enrichment, then you come to the lead assignment and qualification, and then you start with the heart of the sales process. We've talked about. The heart of the sales process is the improvement call. Why? Because you can ask your customer, what is your pain point? What do you want to improve in your company? And then he will answer you. he will give you the words also from the employees, and you can write it down. What you write down, you can use this later in your management summary, in your whole sales process, maybe in the presentation, we call it interactive live meeting, and on and on and on and on. And this is a whole story then. The interactive live meeting is not a presentation we've learned yesterday. Don't do that. When you make a whole presentation, you will lose your customer, your prospect. He will lost in space. Leave him here where you are and give him your thoughts at this point with his improvements. And then you go to the quote, to the evaluation, and then to the closing phase. In the closing phase, keep it very short. And you will see at this point right now, there is no point we are talking about too expensive. There is no time. Yes, it could happen. Yes, for sure. But we think it's better not to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Have we done that?
No, actually not.
So next thing is the communication. When you communicate too early with your customer about the costs, then I've learned a new word yesterday from Wendy, you get to dead end. And I brought it with you today. Imagine that, how much energy you need to get out of this dead end. When you talk about the price, it's so difficult to get back on track. You have to do it again and again and again. When you start from the first point and to keep it slow, to keep it simple, and talk with your customer of the improvements, it's far better. And the mistake was made in the very first beginning, because this is the reality. Once again, but in a different way. This is the invest, and this is the benefit. Look at this. And this is a good example, because now the decision is very simple for a CEO. A CEO wants to know the numbers, and the numbers right here. You can use this for yourself. And what do you think is now the last question of the decision maker, Peter? When he will see this?
Yeah, I mean, in the best case, if he really believes in those numbers, but he will believe in it if he developed it with you and based on his feedback, which are based on the questions that you ask at the very beginning. The question will probably be, when can I get it? Or let's do it.
Yes, that's the point. The only question unanswered is, how fast can I get it? And this is also our experience in this point. The decision maker asks us, okay, what do we need? When can we start? It was last time with a big customer as well. You remember?
Yeah, it's not so long ago, so I remember, yeah.
And we've taken the speedboat, we called it. And this is the message. Now the customer knows what he really wants, namely not to do that. So that's the solution. It's very easy. You have to go for it. You have to practice it. You have to live it. Some tools will help you or can help you. And first of all, yes, Ian, you tried that out. The benefit calculator. Our marketing team has built this tool for us all, and I think it's so cool. Peter, in our lunchtime, we've talked about this tool and what it can do for you or for the customer. What do you think will it bring for you?
You mean if I would be the customer or as a Microsoft? Yeah, I think it's really valuable to have a scheme to prove the business value and the benefits of the solution at a very early point of time. Because as we said now repeatedly, you should really talk about the benefits from the very beginning. But you need a scheme to prove the business value, right? And the benefits based on references and based on your experience. And then I think, Tobias, what you will also talk about, like make it really concise for the decision maker, not like a 5 to 10 to 15 page summary, but really one slider or two slider where you really point out what you developed with the customer, but also what you can offer as a benefit, that you really can talk about the benefits, the possible benefits, and not about other things, right?
And this is a tool, you can use it. You can download it on our website, and out of the box, it's there. Who got it right? You? Hands up? Just one? Okay.
Room for improvement, right?
Yeah, room for improvement. Yes. So the next slide is the management summary. We, in our sales team at Hubdrive, we use it every single day. And I think it's the biggest challenge to fill all things inside of the management summary, what the customer has said to us. So what we are doing there, we putting the numbers inside that the calculator can give us the numbers. So we have the benefit in invest comparison and the savings on this point. And we have it on every single point, like time check, manage time tracking, and everything else. And you can see it by every single number. And then we will go a little bit deeper. From our improvement coming, we using all the words what the customer said to us, exactly the words, not your words. This is very important. You have written it down in the first call, with the improvement call, what the customer exactly said, not your thoughts. This is very important. I have to repeat that today because today are other peoples inside of the room. Yesterday we'll make there a very big point of it. We can use these words from the customer, from the special employee, maybe the HR manager or the IT guy, and we can use it right there. And remember that the CEO is reading that. And when he will read that the customer, the employee, has said, for example, okay, we need 900 hours for one only process, he will look to his assistants and say, is that correct? And she or he will say, yes. And this is also a good thing what we can place here. Yes, and also in numbers. It's very easy. We put therein the benefit and we can separate it like paper or like IT islands. And this will calculate everything that the customer can see after that. And also, when you just only use 1 or 2 or 3 modules, he can see also what it will bring all together. So you can build up your customer later on. Because after the meal comes the Hunger. It's very easy. So the benefit details we've talked about, and there are also CTA I brought with you or for you. Let's talk a little bit about this. You can use the cost benefit calculator. Download it on our website from today on and use it. Try it out, call us when you have questions, but come into use. Make it, do it. Try it out. It's very easy. We use this every single day in our sales. And it brings us to success on this point. And the second one is what we've done yesterday, is the co-sell training. Who was there yesterday? Oh, a lot. Okay. I think you have learned a lot from us, and also we have learned a lot from you, because we are partners. We want to come together and work together and make this in the co-sell a big thing, you know? And we will phone you every week, make with you the call, go in the deep details, go from opportunity to opportunity, and look, what can we do with the customer? And we do the co-sell training on web conference via Teams. We will show that on our website, and as well, like yesterday, live and in color. And the third thing is make more co-sales with us together. We know the sales process and we know how hard it is, and we want to help you. And we together can make this a great thing. So otherwise, dead end. Peter, what do you think about the three things? What's your...
Yeah, I think this is a very good approach. And I think if there should be some things that you should keep in mind after the presentation that we had now, is that first thing, sell the business value, right? And you can use the cost-benefit calculator as a tool for that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is to really go for a really detailed and clear and structured sales process. Involve the customer at the very beginning and also really understand the customer. And from our experience as seller and also as a Microsoft, it's really important to really develop the big picture or the outcome together with the customer, because then the customer really also has a commitment that he says, okay, that's really the truth. That's what we told you. And your summary is based on our input, right? So that's really important, because then you have the commitment and the buy-in from the decision maker. And then mostly it will come to the goal, which is the sale, of course.
We made a co-sale together, you remember, on a very big customer. And have you ever counted how many times we've written together and phoned together until we come to the end? Ever count that?
No.
I've done that.
Okay.
Hold you.
No, I'm curious.
321 times.
Okay, I really didn't know that, so it's really interesting. But really didn't know that. It's not part of the show now.
I put it every single Teams message and counted together. And this was our co-sell. Yes, sometimes it was very fast, and we get to this point where we come together and there were many, many questions, or?
Yeah, right.
Who was the one of us who had the most question of us? Do you remember? The customer or you? Or me?
That's a good question. I don't know, tell me.
You.
Okay.
And I helped you out to get there. And we talked to the customer, made the improvement and come together on this point. We made a good connection in the co-cell. And this is the important thing. This is what I want to bring you today, not to think about too expensive. Think about what can we do together. You asked me in the break session, what is the thing what we can do together to make this better, to come to more success? And what I've told you is, speak to Holger. Phone him, give him a call. Ask him, what can we do together as a team? So that's it for Too Expensive. Thank you for this time. And now we have, I think, maybe a few minutes left. So you can take your time, and then is the next breakout session after that. Thank you.